We all come. Welcome, welcome, welcome. 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 We all come to Taboo Free Talk Show, where we talk about anything and everything. That's called practice. I'm just practicing for the real deal. For the real deal, Holyfield. If you was born after 1995, you won't know what I'm talking about. The real deal, Holyfield. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Taboo Free Talk Show, where we talk about anything and everything. I am your host, Crown Jules, and my co-host is Wah Wah Wah. Our featured guest is Wah Wah Wah. And today we have a few guest panelists. We have Dada, 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 Dada. That's how we do it here. So what are the daily stats? Sunday, November 29, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. It's a full moon out there tonight, folks. Enjoy this full moon. It's a full moon out there, folks, tonight. Enjoy the full moon. It's a full moon out there, folks. It's a full moon out there tonight, folks. It's a full moon out there tonight.
It's the full moon, folks.
Yeah. Who practices? I practice live. Because when I'm not live, I'm doing my own thing. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. The practice? Nah. Ain't nobody got time for that. Let's go ahead and put the phone in charge. I make my own echo. I got my own echo. Yeah. Look, I should have done this before, but it's 8:01 and I'm all alone. Welcome. We all come to Taboo Free Talk Show, where we talk about anything and everything daily. Check out our streams on Zoom.
Look at that mess. Look at that mess. Jesus, the notorious.
Yeah.
Look at that
Welcome. We all come to Taboo Free Talk Show, where we talk about anything and everything. I am your host, Crown Jules, and I'm just practicing. I'm practicing saying my little saying, because that's what I'm trying to say. We welcome you as is. That's right, as is. You have any questions? Ask them. You got questions? We got answers. Okay, I like that. Welcome. We all come to Taboo Free Talk Show, where we talk about anything and everything. Come as is. You got questions? We got answers. We're here to add conscious. What's conscious? Reforms. Conscious movement, conscious expressions, and conscious exposures. Because we on the path to 21K, path to 1,000. 1,000 is black. 1,001 is black. 1,000 is high purple. High purple is the closest to black that you can get, because we just cruise aiders. We just cruising and aiding through the waves, the internet waves. We interviewing people and we are projecting stories. Yeah. Welcome to Taboo Free Talk Show, where we talk about anything and everything. I am your host, Crown Jules, and my co-host is Blah Da Da. Today's stats is Sunday, November 29, 8 p.m. It's a full moon out there, ladies and gentlemen, so enjoy your day, be safe, because when the full moon is out is when the wolves come out. Okay. So what's on today's agenda? Well, the same thing is in the agenda every day. Let's talk about anything and everything. Daily rewind, yesterday's recap, dead blank talking. That's right. Okay. So go ahead and get started. We'll turn this into a, I gotta get my daily blank prepped. And we'll just start the day with a daily blank until we get a guest all up in here. Let's go. What is the code word? So where you at? Okay, boom, I got it.
Welcome. We just vibing. He just working. Ain't no serious work going on at the moment. We just chilling, looking at traffic in the background. We just chilling. Well, what's on the agenda for the day? My brother? My brother got an hour and 38 minutes. What you talk about for an hour and 38 minutes? Alexandra, come
over here setting up the queue. I'm going to start a little bit ahead of time. little bit ahead of time. There we go, right there.
Winning is not talent, it's not looks, it's not degrees. I believe the key to winning is being the best you can possibly be. I believe if you're proud, the key to winning is not talent, it's not looks, it's not degrees. I believe the key to winning is being the best you can possibly be. I believe if you're proud of your abilities and your opportunity, if you look in the mirror and you say, that guy's supposed to win, you know, he's supposed to be somebody, you know, and you go out there and you go find and you be the best.
Let me check to see if I got a copyright claim on this before I go any further. Okay, we at 6:59. Let me just go back real quick. 6:59. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Now I done just lost track of which one I did. That's the actual computer itself. So we back.
Talk about anything.
Be the best you can be. Or be.
Setting up the cue. I'm gonna start a little bit ahead of time.
You're gonna have to go, otherwise you're gonna just keep bringing it.
There we go, right there.
And I'm gonna get turned off.
Winning is being the best you can possibly be. I believe if you're proud, the key to winning is not talent, it's not looks, it's not degrees. I believe the key to winning is being the best you can possibly be. I believe if you're proud.
The key to winning is being the best that you could be. Does it get any simpler than that? Having a winner's mindset is being the best that you can be, refusing to fail, meaning failure after failure after failure, you persist and you continue. You do not cease.
Of your abilities and your opportunity. If you look in the mirror and you say, that guy's supposed to win, you know, he's supposed to be somebody, you know, and you go out there and you go find and you be the best you can be. You're going to have a lot of defeats along the way. You're going to be in so many situations that look so hopeless. But if you just keep being the best you can be, it's going to look impossible at times. Just keep being the best you can be. All you can do is all you can do. But all you can do is enough. When we found out that, you know, cash pay life insurance was a ripoff and buy term investment difference was the way to go, and they had screwed our family, I'm telling you what, I never forgave them for what they did to my mama and what they did to me and Angela. And I was out to punish them. I wanted to hurt them. And that's the way the aliens people were. And the more they tried to, you know, destroy us with just millions of wars that we went through, you know, when you're a crusader, crusaders die hard. And so it just made us more determined to show them, you know, we weren't going to let the enemy, you know, defeat us, you know. Another key to building this winning edge and this mental toughness is you got to become a dreamer again. You know, I'm a Methodist, and we just changed ministers a few weeks ago, and our new minister came in, and the church was just packed. And the first thing he said is, well, it looks like everybody came out to see the monkey perform. And the second thing out of his mouth, he said, for a church to be a great church, you got to have a dream. If you don't have a dream, you're dead. And boy, I sat up and I said, man, me and this guy going to get along good because he knows what he's talking about.
Hello.
See, folks, I believe in order to win, you got to feel good about yourself. When I was coaching.
What's up?
Nothing much. How your day been going?
Good. I took
That's what's up.
Nice nap today.
You're not the only one. I got some real good rest. I'm ready for this week.
For real. I know I could use a little bit more naps though. I got a couple naps in me to get me all the way right.
My phone going off like every 5 minutes. Is that
When you what day do you go to work this week?
Monday through Friday.
Oh, okay. Good thing you don't have to get up like super early in the morning.
Well, I'm already up early, really, so it would have been okay.
Oh, okay.
But I don't have to rush or anything. I could take my time, and I'm gonna choose to take the bus, so I'm excited about that.
Really?
So, yes.
How far is that away?
So it's gonna be about an hour bus ride each way. So an hour in the AM and an hour in the PM. But that hour gives me time to read. You know, it gives me time to just gather my notes. That way I don't have to like do it in my private time with the kids or anything. You know, I can just on the bus ride, you know, get my daily reading, focus, and then
that's exactly what I do, because I catch the bus myself. Because I'm in the process of, you know, getting everything back straight, you know, from, you know, moving on my own and stuff. So now I'm in I just need to get my license back, but I catch the bus myself.
Yeah, I'm with that. Like,
and I use that time to like read. I read, you know, go study. That's what I use that time for.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that, you know. In the past, I wouldn't have been so thrilled about it. It seems like, yo, the bus is whack, but nah, the bus is an opportunity. You know, so I'm excited about it. And I'm thinking of taking my bike too. So I'm thinking of just riding my bike to the bus stop, putting my bike on the bus, taking it with me, and just having it. That way, in case I decide I want to ride home, I could always ride home. I think it's like 10 miles from where I work to where I live. But in my old job, I used to ride my bike to work a lot. It was 5 miles. And I could do the 5 miles in like 20 minutes, sometimes even less. Like if I really want to go fast. And I have a little bike. I don't have like a mountain bike. So it's a little bit harder. But I don't know. But where I live now, you have to go over a bridge. So I'm not, you know, but they do have like a way where you can go over the bridge where it's safe. So it's okay. Like people walk the bridge and everything. But I'm thinking of just going in my bike, you know, maybe in the AM, I won't ride it just so I don't get sweaty or anything, even though it's kind of chilly out. So I won't sweat, I don't think. But maybe on the way back, I can just ride back home. I haven't decided.
Just ride.
But
you'll decide, and then after that first bus ride, you'll see like the kind of like the route it'll take. Because I'm quite sure to go over that bridge, and it'll give you a sense of like, you know, like to be able to peep out different things and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get the opportunity, you get to meet people when you're on the bus, like conversating and stuff like that.
I don't know. I'll probably be a little bit antisocial that way because I like the idea of focusing and like, you know, being able to like, but you know how it is. Some people like
eventually, not like right off the bat talking to strangers,
right,
but eventually, you know what I mean?
You're right, because that's what happens. If you show up every day, you'll see like the same people probably. And then eventually you'll be like, hey, what you doing?
Now I just don't talk to everybody, you know what I mean? But like some people, it's like they'll be like, oh, like if they like to read or something, they'll see me read and they, you know, get to talking like something like that. But trust me, there'd be some weirdos too.
I bet. You know, and especially as a female, you know, you got to deal with some issues that I may not got to deal with. So you got guys probably trying to like talk or whatever. And
I had an issue with that. When was that? A couple months ago. I don't have that issue anymore though, but I had went and talked to my mentor about it, and I was telling him about it. And it was the actual bus drivers.
Okay. That's different.
So that was even worse there, but yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. What are the daily stats? Wait. Welcome. We all come to Taboo Free Talk Show where we talk about anything and everything. And I'm just practicing, you know, because this is mostly for when we have a third person. Then we can welcome to the Taboo Free Talk Show where we talk about anything and everything.
Today is November 29th, 2020. It is a little bit past 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Today our host is Julian.
Jules. I like Jules.
Jules. Today our host is Jules, and your co-host is Alexandra. So, what's up, y'all?
So what's the daily recap?
Today
daily rewind, which is yesterday's recap.
Yesterday, we basically we discussed a lot of different topics, with economic empowerment being majority on each topic. But we focus more on the past articles that I have written for the newspaper, the college newspapers that I have wrote for, and how we're going to put it in effect, to get those articles posted to our Youth Build Alumni page. So be on the watch out for that. And we also talked about patience and how we are coming together, me and Julian, and we're going to be providing lots of videos because we go live daily. And we had a quick focus on how Julian said, only thing is the hard part will be to go back and get them all edited, but that will come in due time. And building momentum and develop relationships with classmates was something I was informed on for when I start my college course classes. But mainly, that's what we talked about, was about getting the articles posted, and that's
Okay,
about
so
it.
then
Would you like
maybe
to add anything, Julian?
well, what we could do is, as you take the notes, let's figure out like a way of making it easier to do the recap, where
Okay.
maybe it's like, okay, we'll say 2-3 bullet points or like 3 main categories. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud.
Okay,
That
well,
way,
how about when the meeting is over with, I could shoot you an email with the notes, and then you can send me a.
no, it's cool. You got it.
I do. Should
Yeah,
I like make like after I write my notes, I can just go back over and just put like 3 bullet points and then just write those down.
Yeah, make it
That's what
like
I
into
do.
a paragraph. That way you can even read it. Make the daily recap something that you can just read.
Okay.
That way, and then you just read it, and then that catches us up on what happened yesterday, and then we can get into
Okay.
today.
Because I do have a lot of notes from yesterday.
Yeah. So we don't have to go through all of them, but then you can at least focus on, a couple things, like turn it into a paragraph. That's it.
Okay.
So basically, I'm calling it the Daily Rewind, yesterday's recap.
Daily
Rewind, and then that Daily Rewind means yesterday's recap.
Okay.
Because I want to be able to start using these keywords. That way, these words can distinguish the segments.
Okay.
So we have the intro. Welcome to the Taboo Free Talk Show, where we talk about anything and everything. So that's solid. And then I am your host, Crown Jules or Jules. And then you can automatically kick in. I'm Alexandra. Mm-hmm. And then if it's just me and you right now, then if there's a third person, then we can say, and today's featured guest is, and then we just say their name, and we have a few panelists that have joined us, and then we can introduce them too. But it'll take us practice, because we're just getting going. But the cool thing about us working on it now is that then it's gonna feel more show-like, and it allows us to distinguish the segments. That way, we have the intro, we introduce ourselves, and then we go into the daily stats, and then we can introduce today's question. But we're gonna get there. Since we're just building, it's okay. So in fact, let's do a dry run. Welcome to the Taboo Free Talk Show, where we talk about anything and everything. I am your host, Jules.
Crown Jules.
And I am your co-host, Alexandra.
Today's featured guest is No One, and we have a couple panelists, No One and No One. Today's question is, if you could relive a day in your life again, which would it be and why? So now I'll rewind, that way you can write it down.
You could
relive a day of your life again. Which would it be and why? So then now let me rewind. Welcome to the Taboo Free Talk Show, where we talk about anything and everything. I am your host, Crown Jules, and
I am your co-host, Alexandra.
Today's featured guest is No One. Today's question is, if you could relive a day of your life again, which would it be and why? While you think about that, let's do the daily rewind, yesterday's recap. And then, we'll read the paragraph, and then we can come back to the question. All right, now that you've had some time to think about it, hey, Alexandra, if you could relive a day of your life again, which would it be and why? By the way, I don't know the answer yet. I've been trying to think about it, and I still don't have an answer.
If I could relive a day in my life, it would have to be the day that I got married.
Okay. Okay.
And I would have waited longer because the reason why is, I mean, I wasn't, to be honest with you, I wasn't ready for marriage, but I was learning as I was coming along. And I gave, like, I didn't have much, like financially, like really nothing. And I just went and got married based off of love. That's what I, thought it was and stuff. And I really thought the person that I did get married to, really loved me as much as I loved him and things of that nature. But really, it wasn't like that. And now I have a better outlook on marriage. And to that point is, I have to love myself first. And with that being said, is that, taking care of myself, loving myself, learning myself, doing everything that it takes, because no matter how kind you be to someone, no matter how much you love them, no matter how much you get them, your hard time, whatever,
Jeanette,
if
please.
they're stuck on something else in life, because
Betsy, they done spill water.
a man and a woman, when they are reaching to marriage, your spouse comes first. And if you can't understand that, you do not need to get married. If you do not understand that concept of how that works, and being able to respect communication is one of the key pointers. If you can't communicate with your spouse before anyone else, that's definitely is dead. I mean, it's a dead end. And will I ever get married again in life? I don't know what the future holds. Am I looking to get married now? Oh no, no, no. I love my relaxation. I love my peace of mind. I love where everything is at. But hey, I don't know what God got in store for me. I don't know. It's a chance I may meet someone, but I know what I can bring to the table.
What you bring to the table?
For a new marriage. And I know at this point, I'm not ready because I'm working on myself.
That's right.
All right. Well, look, so I'll answer the question now, and I'll take the same angle that you took. I'll talk about relationships as well. And I think for me, if I could relive a day in my life again, I would probably relive the day I lost my virginity. And look, and I'm a lady.
This is so funny. Okay.
Because I don't think I was ready. I wasn't ready, even though I was older than most of the people. But I wasn't ready. It set me on a trajectory. Like I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready because then I wasn't mature enough. So then you want to do it more. You do it once, you want to keep doing it. I grew up in church, so there was an element of guilt and shame that was associated with the experience. And sex should be a beautiful experience. It shouldn't be associated with guilt and shame, But then I kind of felt like I was doing something wrong. And then just being young, and not even being young, just being like a male and with testosterone, then you want to experience more of it from different people. But then now I'm in a relationship that feels very serious, it feels like commitment. And I wasn't ready. Like, I don't know. I think I just, maybe I didn't have the proper birds and bees conversation. Like I just was not emotionally ready to handle like being sexually active. So then if I were to go back, I would probably not do it. And maybe like research it, now, granted, back then we had like magazines where you like Men's Health or whatever. And all those magazines talked about was like how to please a woman. Like it was more like how to be a better sex partner. But I don't feel like anyone really told me like what it means to really be in a relationship. Like you were saying that like when you're in a relationship, your spouse comes first, and
marriage.
Yeah. And for me, like my instinct would be like, well, no, I should come first. But then that shows my immaturity when it comes to relationships because, I should already be taking care of myself. I should already be whole. And if I'm going to come enter a relationship with somebody else, like I should be able to be mature enough to put their needs before mine because ultimately I'm going to be all right. Like, and if they have a need or they need me to be there for them, I should be happy to be there for them. But I feel like I just didn't have a good I come from a single family household. I don't have, my uncle's married and he has a wife and there's probably other people that were around that were in relationships. But because I was still like in my child mind, I wasn't really paying attention to like how to be a partner. And then, when you talk to your friends, like the guys, all they're talking about is sex. Like we're not really talking about healthy relationships, communication. Like we're not talking about being support system. We're not talking like that. It's more like physical and sexual and like how to please a woman and like those kind of details. So if I were to go back, I'd probably delay my first sexual experience. And then I would put that energy into like researching what does it mean to be in a healthy relationship, you know, and then now, look, now that I'm talking, it's easy to think about it like once you're over here on this side, but I would probably want to like find out like who would be my ideal partner. Like we talked about this before, like what are my non-negotiables? You know, what am I looking for? But ultimately, you know, I don't live in regret, and I think that everything happens for a reason. However, to answer the question, you know, that's what I would probably do. I go back to that day and I would delay it, you know, and then for me, that's why, like, even working with young people, it's not popular to talk about abstinence, but I want to make it cool. I want to make abstinence cool again. And what I mean by that is that, like, I feel like I kind of pressured myself into getting sexually active. Like, not necessarily peer, like, I let me watching other people kind of influence me to think that I'm ready to do that. And then the church version of abstinence, like maybe they didn't teach it to me in a way that I can connect to it. But if I can go back and do it again, I would want to make abstinence cool. So even now as an adult, as I work with young people, you know, I'm interested in making abstinence cool, you know, talking about friendship over love. That way people can focus on their purpose and kind of delay that sexual experience. Because once you start having sex, like that could take your focus away from being successful. That could take your focus away from fulfilling whatever responsibilities you have. You know, if you're a young person, usually you may have fewer responsibilities because, you know, you're not a full adult yet. But at the same time, you know, my mom did, or I should have been more reliable. Like my mom should have been able to count on me to help with chores or to count on me to do certain things. And I think it became easy to not be available because now I'm thinking about girls in a more serious way. So yeah, so if I can go back in time, that's the day that I would probably revisit.
Okay.
You know? Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this talk. Anything in particular that you wanted to focus on today, or should we?
I wanted to bring something up. I actually finished this book, which only took me a couple days.
Damn,
Warriors Don't Cry, and like it is. If you ever get a chance or ever come across it, read it.
Warriors Don't Cry.
Yep.
Okay.
And it is by who is it by? I think. Who is the book by?
Ooh, I just had an idea.
Melba is by this is how she has 3 names. It's Melba, Melba.
Yep.
Pattillo, Pattillo.
Okay.
And Beals, Beals.
Beals. Okay.
It's the school is based off on a school in Little Rock, Arkansas, back in the 1950s, where integrate the first 8 students who I think it was 8 or 9. They integrated. So they are the reason why we have school with black and whites down in the South.
And they talked about like their experience, like from there, is it
how the National Guards was brought in, but they were really no protection. How the president, people who worked for the president at that time, had came, knocked at their door, had to guard them to go to school. How they were spit on. How they even some of the white kids at the high school tried to kill them because they were black. Very good read. Very.
Okay.
It's a young adult book. So when it ain't gonna take you that long to read. I know that because it only took me a couple of days. I probably could have read it in one day if I just sat there and just read it. But I had to give myself some breaks from it because it's deep information. And I remember like what you said is that like try to read books that you're in the mood in. But that book is like it's deep. You know what I mean? And it makes it even deep when it comes from a white person that's putting me up on game of what happened a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like I'm learning stuff now that I didn't learn in high school. Like if I knew in high school how important it was to just read, I would have been reading like I was now. You know what I mean? But I was just reading, you know, like school information. You know, sometimes every now and then I read a book. Even though I like to read, I just read books that I like. But now that I'm older, into just get into all different type of books, it's an enjoyment that I find very, very educational for me. So.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was thinking was, maybe we should like, so as you read the book, you can do like little summaries on it. You know, like do you take notes when you do it or not? Or sometimes?
This one I didn't take notes. This one.
Oh, it's a different style. So that would maybe because it's more story format. It's easier to kind of just enjoy the book. Okay. So yeah, maybe something to consider if you're interested in, then for the people that come behind us, After
I
you
can
read
go
the
back.
book.
The book is not due until like a couple more weeks, I think. I can go back. It won't take me that long to go back and highlight.
Can I get
Yeah, and then maybe
Okay.
just make like 2 paragraphs, or maybe like something
Like summarize it.
yeah, like you maybe
Okay,
that could be
okay.
like a writing prompt. So every time
Okay.
you read a book, you do a brief summary. That way you can get the next person interested in reading it or not. Kind of like a
Okay.
book review. Yeah, like a book review. And then what we could do is we could post books on the Youthville alumni page with the book review. And then if people are interested in, just to be able to continue to like
That's very engaging, and I love to read.
yeah, yeah. And then we'll meet other people that like to read, and all of a sudden we're gonna have nonstop like educational content on our page that we can engage people with.
Then it'll get individuals that's interested that like to read too, if they want to consider writing book reviews on the books that they read, to join
Yeah,
us.
yeah. And then some people that maybe are a little bit shy and don't want to come to a Zoom.
Of course, they can definitely, email me, reach out to me. that'll definitely be something I
And
would
we
love.
could do like a little book club. So, that's cool.
Okay.
So then basically, as you read the books, you can go ahead and write short reviews, and then we'll add that to the alumni page as part of what we do. Cool. That makes sense. Okay. What else is on your mind?
I feel ready for tomorrow. I've been also really studying science, and I'm trying to see if I want to go ahead, keep studying for the next week or two, and then go ahead and test and see what's to it and try to get science out the way. But it's like, I don't want to rush myself. Got any advice?
What kind of science is it? Earth science?
Just ready for my GED.
Okay, so I don't remember the specific science. Earth science or biology or chemistry or a mixture of everything.
Hold on. I know earth science is one of them. Let me get it for you.
Unit.
Science, physics, and chemistry.
Okay, so it's probably gonna be a mix of everything.
Earth and space science. Let me see. Life science is 40%. Earth and space science is 20%. Physical science is 40%.
Okay. Okay.
So,
there's no rush.
Okay.
You can just take your time. You got a lot going, right? I mean, it seems like you got a lot on your plate right now anyway.
Okay.
But you got a lot of energy, so you're a lifelong learner, and you're enjoying it. So, I guess you can't go wrong either way.
But you know what I'll do? I am going to this is what I can focus on during the day for my professional development. You know what I mean? Like a couple things, you know what I mean? Like the books I read, I can write summaries on it. That's something would you consider that professional development?
Definitely. So now
Okay.
let's go ahead and talk about words. So professional development can be the big category because that's what your teacher is calling it. And then under professional development, we'll have personal development.
Okay.
Leadership development.
Okay, hold on just a moment. Professional development.
That's the main category. So we'll call it like basically, so for instance, we're doing Taboo Free Talk Show, right? But whenever it's me and you, we're focusing on professional development. And
right.
Professional development, there's 3 categories. We're gonna have personal development, which is just you. Like personal development has to do with like you being happy with yourself, self-love, like your diet, like how you move, your exercise, like basically you, like everything that got to do with you.
Okay.
Leadership development will be like you and other people.
What's the second one?
Leadership development.
Okay.
And then that has to do with topics that has to do with you and other people. So personal development is everything that has to do with you. Leadership development is you and other people. And then I would call the last one community development, but I have heard the word community improvement, and I kind of like that better. So we can go with personal development, leadership development, and community improvement. And those are the 3 categories that fall under professional development.
Okay, leadership development will be with other people.
Relationships.
And that last one is?
Community improvement. So that's going to be social issues, such as homelessness, such as education reform.
So you said social what?
Issues, like the problems in the community, things that need to be improved in the community.
And what was the second one? Social issues.
So we got homelessness, we have education reform, or education as a category. Economic empowerment, which is like business, and that's gonna have to do like with the community development. So actually, let's call it, look, for community improvement, let's go housing, education,
Social issues.
Yes.
Homelessness.
But yeah, you can put, but I'm trying to give you like bigger categories, and then homelessness would be under housing.
So cross out homelessness and just leave housing.
You can leave homelessness, but homelessness could be a bullet point under housing.
Housing, okay.
Yeah, that way we can, you know, when we're basically what we're doing now is kind of like this is like a leadership development task. So we're creating an outline of what we're doing.
Okay.
So as we create this outline, you know, it's important to have like categories, like the main categories and subcategories. So the main category is professional development. Then a subcategory is going to be personal
leadership and community improvement.
Yes, and then over time we're going to then, like, so for personal development we're going to put diet, like what you eat, exercise, and emotions, or mental health. Diet, exercise, and mental health. And right now we're just throwing words out there, because what will happen is, as we talk about it more, there's going to be better words that are going to connect with you. Like, okay. I've already gone through this process where I have like the best words that apply to me, but right now I'm trying to use the words that can connect best with you, and then we can together talk about it over and over until you find the best words that happen. So for instance, instead of personal development, I call it lifestyle engineering. But I'm okay showing you both. But basically, for everything that I'm talking to you about, I have my own words for it, and that's how I made it mine. But as I talk to you, I want to introduce you to the regular words. That way you have a good, strong foundation. And then when you hear the words that I have for it, then you'll understand, oh, I like that. Like, doesn't lifestyle engineering sound better?
It sounds like this high Sadiddy word. Yeah. You see how you got my eye? Yeah, when you said it, I'm like, okay, hold on, let me get this down too.
That's good. Yeah, so lifestyle engineering.
I really like this, because in the future, I'm gonna be able to go back and look at these notes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and be like, okay, this is what we're working on. You know, if my boss be like, because I sent her an update kind of, I think it was earlier in the week, I had sent her an email, and I just kind of put, you know, like, because I told her when she agreed for me to work with you, I said, I'll keep you updated with emails on, you know, exactly like kind of what we're working on in the plan. And this is what I had sent her for the first email. And I'm glad I'm able to learn words with you along too.
Yeah.
That's gonna help.
We say that words create worlds.
Here's the thing, like for instance, when we say leadership development and personal development, some people think that they already know everything about that. Like if you talk to like an adult like that has experience in that field, they might stop listening to you when you say leadership development, because they're like, oh, I already went to a training about that. You know, when you say lifestyle engineering, it's like, okay, what does that mean? Like, and it includes more. It includes everything that they know plus a little bit more.
Okay, this is what I put. This is the email. I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
This is an update for what we have generated ideas in terms of topics to address and focus on for the workshop, which are listed below. Program culture addresses attendance, behavior, and conflict resolution, etc. Economic empowerment will make a worse student a good student. Our theme will be to create something as to where the young individuals, youth-built students in parentheses, will feel like they are a part of something bigger than just themselves.
Okay, and that's a good start. And then now we're going to continue developing the ideas as we talk. And then over time, you'll be able to take that same paragraph and then talk a little bit more about it. So for instance, under economic empowerment, you can put branding, entrepreneurship, strategy, and technology.
Branding,
entrepreneurship, strategy, and technology. And then you already got that book on strategy. So then
branding, entrepreneurship, strategy, and what else?
Technology. And then under strategy, then you can put that book that you're reading. You know, and then under strategy, you can also put that book, the one that you just
Warriors Don't Cry.
Yeah, because that's about strategy. So what's strategy? That's learning about the past because you don't want to repeat the past and you want to learn from the past. So that has to do with life strategy. You see, so then basically the next email you send her, it's the same thing, but then now you're going to fill in more details with actual stuff that you've been working on.
Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it out more towards the end of this week, because I'm going to update her weekly, and I'm going to send you it first. You let me know what you think.
Okay, and then I'll send it back. I'll edit it and I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, that'll work good. You turning me into a boss.
I'm just showing you words. That's all it is, because you already are a boss. Now it's like dominating language to be able to get the outcome that you want. You know, it's like being a magician. You know, like.
And you know what? What do you think about this? Someone mentioned to me, a good friend of mine. She said, "Have you noticed your vocabulary changing the more you read?" And I'm like, "What?" This was a while ago, like a few months ago. And I'm like, "What?" She was like, "Yeah, the more you read, you will notice your vocabulary, the way you talk will change."
Daddy, I want my Roblox.
What's up, mommy?
Juju.
Hi.
What's up, mommy? Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Say hi.
Hi. What you doing?
My baby.
You baby?
You the baby?
Go with mommy. Go with mommy. Go with mommy. Okay. Okay. So go on. So your vocabulary.
Yeah, she said. Now, what do you think about that? Like, with someone, the more that they read, like, do their vocabulary change, or the way that they talk?
Well, I think it goes in stages. You know. So one thing that I like to say is that everything works in cycles. You know, like, you know how we talked about the pyramid, where you got beliefs, state, destination, numbers, which is actions, and then emotions. So it's like we're going up and down that ladder. As you're reading, you know, every day we go up the ladder. Every day, you know, you're practicing your beliefs through your actions. Every day you're feeling emotions and you're either balanced or not. So every day you're doing it. And then as you are reading, you're exposing yourself to the way other people handle living. And then a little bit of them rubs off on you. And the more that you read, the more other people rub off on you. And then you kind of become, you start
Rub off, I mean, you're influenced by their ideas.
To form into a new person, and you absorb a little bit, like
you form into a new perspective that appears to come off as if you are a new person.
It's like you're getting superpowers from different angles, and then you do appear to change, like, because you start talking a little bit more like for instance, if you start hanging around a new crowd, you'll start talking a little bit more like them. But then what happens to people like you and me is that we reach a point that then we realize that we're becoming a little bit separate from the average person. Like we're not relatable anymore. So then it's like your vocabulary can make you not relatable, because now you may be talking over people's heads because you're not maybe talking about topics that they're interested in, or you're using words that they haven't heard before. And then a person like you and I, what we do then is, because we want to have an impact, then we got to tone it down. You know, we got to tone it down. and then, oh, this is
really, like, no, we got to, bring it.
Yeah, but this is really good feedback. And it has to do with even your writing, and this will improve your writing, because it's something that improved my writing. I then began to practice being precise. Rather than being poetic, I began to be precise. So for instance, that means I took out all the slang out of my vocabulary, because sometimes you can talk to someone, and if you use a slang, they may not understand what you're saying because maybe they never was exposed to that slang word. For instance, if you talk to some of your professors that are Caucasians, they may not know some of the slang from the street. So then, like something like, oh, that's not my cup of tea. What does that mean to you? Oh, that's not my cup of tea.
It's a dislike. It's something.
Right. But if you tell that to someone from another country, if you're writing
they're gonna think we're talking about tea.
Right. And if you write an article, all of a sudden, people that don't know that saying might miss that whole paragraph because you have that saying in there. And then, so what you want to do is when you look at, and this will be a good idea when you review some of your writing, and we can do it together. Like we'll read it, and I'll be like, you probably want to rephrase that sentence. That way, more people can understand it. And then the best way to know how to do that is saying the following. Okay, 100 years from now, if a person picks up this book and they have a dictionary, will they be able to understand it? And then that keeps you, that'll take all the slang out. And instead of saying that's not my cup of tea, you'll be like, I dislike that activity. And it'll keep it simple. You know, I just didn't like so-and-so, you know, rather than using that poetic language. Now, poetic language is good, but it has its time and it has a place. And what I found out for myself was that I had to go through a phase where I only spoke precisely. now that I'm coming back down the pyramid to be more relatable, now I have to get used to, again, talking more slangish, like using more Ebonics or non-precise words. And it's a little bit challenging because it's been a long time. I've been trying to improve my vocabulary so that I can be clear for a long time. So I haven't been paying attention to what are the words that the young people are using these days, you know? So then when they hear me talk, they might be like, you talk weird, you know, you talk different. So then in order to be more relatable, then now I have to begin to practice using the vocabulary of the people that I'm serving. So now what does that mean to you? As you become more seasoned in the knowledge that you're acquiring and you're getting your superpowers, well, now you have the ability to shift your language according to who you're talking to, you know? And then if you're talking to young people, then you can kind of like use language that young people use. If you're talking to people that are in a professional setting, like in a college, then you can be much more precise, you know? Now, the reason I like precise language is because it's much easier to communicate with minimal disruption with like complete understanding. Because what we want to avoid, especially if now this is under leadership development, like when we're working with other people, we want them to understand us, right? So you may need to say it twice. So for instance, you might be like, well, that's not my cup of tea. You know, in other words, I don't like that. So you just say both. That way they can hear your slang and they can hear the precise way of saying it. But ultimately, you'll be able to use your judgment as to what's the best words to use. Because I do believe that it's important to speak precisely. Precisely doesn't necessarily mean big words, but sometimes it does mean big words because big words are then much more clear than not. So yeah, I agree with that person that said that. You know, the more you read, the more you learn how to think. Like writing is thinking, and then reading is thinking. So it's like you're reading people's thoughts on paper. So it allows you to be a better thinker because now you have more tools on how to think, especially if you have a variety of topics that you like to read about. So yeah, I agree with her. But just to bring it back to reality, then as a leader, the burden is on you to use the best language for whoever you're talking to. You know, that makes sense.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah. And then to talk about like the way that you write. So then what happens is like when you work on your master's or your doctorate, when you work on your master's, nobody cares your opinion. That's the best way to look at it. Nobody cares the professors, they don't want to hear your opinion. They want you to read what somebody else said. Like for instance, that's when you learn more about research. And for instance, you know how on some of your articles you'll quote like according to the American Medical Association, 48% of that it sounds very robotic. When you're working on your master's, you're a robot. You're not. It's like you haven't earned the ability to have independent thought. You have to then learn from other people who have put in the work, and then when you get your doctorate, then you get flexibility to use your own words again. But you still have to quote people that have already done research on the topics that you're talking about. So that's something to think about. So then,
how long do it take for your master's degree?
I mean, depending on the program, there's some programs that you can do it as quick as 1 year. You know, like if you just go straight, you can. There's some programs that might let you complete it in 1 year. But generally speaking, the difference between, from my perspective, like working on your master's is really about learning from the best people in your field. So if you're going to go into education, you're going to be reading papers written by people in education who conducted studies. So for instance, when you work on a doctorate, you got to do a thesis. You got to do a whole paper. For instance, you got to like solve a problem or observe a problem and talk about it. So let's see, that book, Countering the Conspiracy Against Black Boys. So then that's he's a doctor. He has a doctorate. So then that book is kind of like his paper. And then you can quote him from that book. And then when you're writing your master's, people don't really care what your opinion is about what's the conspiracy against Black children. What they want to hear is what the doctorate said about that topic. You know, and then you basically are just repeating what the best people in the field are saying about a topic. And then when you get your doctorate, then you earn, it's like you got to earn your stripes. Then now that you're working on your doctorate, you earn the ability to speak independently, to take everything you've heard and create a new idea about why X, Y, Z.
And what about bachelors? Like
in bachelors, you know, you can give your opinion. Like teachers are much more flexible because it's not as serious. You know, now granted, you'll have some teachers that mean like if you're taking like a research class or statistics class or some sort of class that's a little bit more formal, you might have a teacher that is kind of like on you about being more precise about it. In fact, your bachelor's is more about formatting, like APA format or ML. Like there's different, like, you know, single space, double space, your punctuation, 5 paragraphs, intro, body, conclusion. I think bachelor's is more about like the mechanics of it, like being able to write a paper. They're more flexible. You can give your opinion. You can kind of like there's more flexibility. But when you get to master's, it's more about giving respect to the people that are in the field. And then when you get to the doctorate, you do give respect, but now you're able to kind of introduce new concepts. That's kind of like, from my opinion, other people might disagree with me, but I mean, I think I'm pretty accurate on that. That's been my experience from me, you know.
Because I know now that I want to, which I'm not in like a super rush, but I know once I complete my GED, I'm going to go in, I'm going to start off with just a few online classes with my associate's degree. And I feel as if, and I thought about this last night too, I feel as if me doing my AmeriCorps position during the day, continuously working with you, and then in the evening, I can focus on my classes. But I'm just going to only start off with just taking a few classes once I get my GED completed, because I'm still going to be working during the day.
Okay.
And as I gradually move along, that's when I'm going to start taking on more and more and more classes. Because I think it's 6 classes full-time student.
Well, so when you decide to work on your degree, you can explore your options.
Which I have, you know, I already did a few college courses classes while I've been working on my GED. So I did like 4 of them.
Okay, but what I'm saying is there are some programs that are designed for working adults where you only focus, like you can work towards your bachelor's and then you only focus on one class at a time. Like you do one class for a month and then you do another class and then you don't have to do 4 classes at once, but you're still a full-time student. So there's,
you know what, I'm gonna talk. That's something I'm gonna talk to my counselor, my mentor about, because the college that I attend, it's a lot of different stuff that it's a lot, like they have a lot of different support, you know what I mean? And sometimes for the different programs and different things, like we're kind of learning as we come along and stuff. But I'm gonna ask and even speak to them and even speak to my boss and kind of just see, you know, like, hey, what do you all know that I'm going to be going to school and stuff like that? What's something good that can be suitable? Because sometimes they'll, you know, it's possible that, don't quote me if I'm wrong, but it's possible that certain things can be made apart. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I mean, off top, I would say for you to consider like a business management / public administration. So business management has to do more with the corporate world. But it's also connected to nonprofit. But public administration has a little bit more to do with nonprofit, and those are usually like pretty vague. Like they a lot can fall under that, you know. And then so those are like.
What I was gonna do is just focus on my general studies now.
Yeah, but I mean when you decide to get like your bachelor's. Yeah, because general studies, you got to do general courses no matter what.
What about education?
So you could do a master's in education, and then that way, because like for instance it worked out pretty good for me, I think. I got my bachelor's in business management, which that lets me get basically any kind of job around business. And it works for nonprofit too. Like it's a pretty versatile degree. And then I decided to go into like criminal justice, which you don't got to do that. I did that because I'm interested in corrections. I'm interested in like trying to solve people that have committed a crime or people that my master's in criminal justice was about me trying to learn how to work with people who already made mistakes. Yeah. However, when I was working on my doctorate, I was working on a doctorate in education, because ultimately I believe that education is like the ultimate solution. We need to be able to figure out how to educate people so that they don't get into these problems, and that way we can prevent it as much as we can. However, you could get a bachelor's in business or a bachelor's in public administration or a master's in public administration, and then work on a doctorate in education, or you can get a bachelor's in business or a bachelor's in public administration, and then get a master's in education that allows you to teach, like a teacher certificate, and that allows you to teach. But you got flexibility. But I would recommend that your education should be like your master's or your doctorate. That way, your bachelor's is something that's a little bit more versatile. And they have a lot of good. I mean, either way, you can't go wrong with either one. You can't go wrong with either one. But I believe that you're going to be in a position where.
So I wouldn't be able to make education for my bachelor's and then public administration and business for my master's?
It's possible, but I think it's easier to do it the other way around. You know, and by easier, I mean that it's much easier to find. Well, let me just take that back. I think that there are a lot of programs that, for instance, a bachelor's in business, they have a lot of programs for adult learners where they're much more flexible, where you can keep working and then focus on getting your bachelor's in business or public administration while you keep your regular job. Whereas in education, maybe they have that as well. But I think that, for instance, for your personality, like you can easily be running your own organization. So by having a background early on in your career in management, which is leadership, or public administration, which is nonprofit leadership, then you can create and run your organization with the credibility that you have a degree, and then on top of that, get a master's in education that allows you now to focus on specific issues that you want to implement within the organization that you're trying to create. So for instance, with a master's in education, it kind of says that you can create courses now. So you can create specific courses that can then benefit your organization.
And you could technically create courses at any moment in time. A lot of people make a living off creating courses. I mean, you can just go to YouTube, learn how to do something and create a course around it, and then start monetizing it and offering it on other platforms.
So for instance, with a bachelor's in business or in public administration, that's kind of called organizational leadership. And that sets you up to be like a CEO or in like being able to run your own organization. Okay. Whereas if you get it in education, you're kind of setting yourself up to work within and someone else's educational institution. So getting a bachelor's in education is like, okay, I can teach. So who do I want to work for so I can go teach for them? Now, if you get a bachelor's in business, it's like, okay, I can run my own company or I can run my own nonprofit. And then I can get a master's in education so that I can incorporate that into my degree. But there's no wrong. There's no right or wrong.
I see what you're saying. And I'm even though I'm just, still working on my GED and stuff, it's something to consider because, I genuinely have these talks, with my counselor and my mentor and stuff. And like my mentor told me, like I can go to any, college. Of course, I want to stay where I'm living. I don't want to change my living thing, but they have connections to where, because I know some students, they're working on their bachelor's while they're finishing up their associate's degree. And kind of like how I am going with my GED and I'm also working towards my associate's degree. They have programs and it's not just one college, it's different colleges. And depending on like what scholarships I qualify for at different colleges and stuff, because my boss, the college she went to, Greenville University, which is it's about an hour away from here, but I hear a lot of good things about that from students who I went to school with. Well, they've already graduated with their associate's degree. They are going there now. It's kind of like a religious-based school, I think, but it's a really good school. It's a really good school, and it's something. But I know I don't have to make a decision right offhand or whatever, because like my mentor said, he was like, "You got options." You know what I mean? So right now, my main focus is to really read a lot, but I also want to score high on my GED because I'm trying to go to the next level. I'm not just taking my GED test just to get a score to pass. I'm taking my GED test so when I register for my more college course classes, I'll be able to get matched. Courses. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's not like
if you go just to pass the GED test, then when you go to college, you might not score high enough to take college level courses. So that's why.
So you feel where I'm coming from then, don't you?
So I think it makes sense for you to continue what you're doing, and then for your associates, get like a general education, like just general courses. But then what happens is after your 2 years, then you have to choose a major. And then I think that's where then you can choose a program that fits you best. And usually like a business management or public administration are like really good options because that basically is like those are leadership courses, like management courses. And then you can specialize for your master's. You can choose a specific, like, okay, I want a master's in educational leadership, or I want a master's in education curriculum development, so then, but by that time you'll have options. And either way, like, again, this is all stuff that you can learn on your own. Because basically when I went to college, all that happens is you have a professor who read some books and then they gave us a class on the books that they read and they have us read it too. And then we have to do like a book review, so to speak, or do tests on it, and then they grade us on how much we understood the books that we read. And
so it's good that I'm working on this. Everything that I'm doing with you now, I feel like it's really, really good and it's beneficial because my boss, my mentor, everybody, they're going to see like, whenever we go back into the office, they're going to see like, oh, okay, Alexandra been doing something. My boss going to
check it out. So this is what I've been, the platform that I'm working with my son is a school. Like, so basically I'm working on a school that one day, what my intention is, like, I want to have from K through doctorate, and then what happens is,
that's neat. Where did you get the idea from?
Well, I'm trying to improve the world, and then when I saw that I couldn't do it to the full capacity within Youth Build, then I had to recalibrate and figure out, okay, well then what am I going to do? And then that's my contribution. Then I'll form a school. And then
you know what I thought about? I said to myself, even though like you're not with Youth Build anymore, you're still putting it in Youth Build because you're putting it in me. And I'm accessing it through Youth Build. And it's kind of weird, like how you meet people and how they can just be so much of a blessing to you. You know what I mean? like all the stuff the knowledge in the game that you put me on, you know, which is slang for me to say game.
No, you're good. I like game. Game is good. That life's a game. So
yeah,
I like.
So you put me up on all of this game and stuff. So when I'm able to present it, or even just regular conversations and meetings and, you know, stuff like that, you know, I'm gonna be very knowledgeable in. Not saying I wasn't before, because my personality, you could put me in any type of room and I'm gonna be able to interact with different individuals. You know what I mean? That's just my personality.
And I've kept all my books too. So it's like once, like as we continue, like you see how as we continue, and you're gonna complete that outline. So I have books on strategy, I have books on branding, I have books on marketing, I have books on education. Okay. I was working on a doctorate in education, so I would have to buy the books, and I've kept them. So it's not hard for me then to just like look on the website. I have thousands of books, so I haven't uploaded them all. But we have more than 500 books that Jaden has already uploaded, where the idea is that you can go to the website and then select the book that you want, check it out, and then I mail it to you, and then you read it, and then you work with me or the instructor, and then you basically work chapter by chapter and do like book reviews or summaries.
That's neat.
So my intention is to create like an educational setting, but I'm not in a rush to do it because, again,
everything will kind of fall into place. And I like that you said not in a rush, because it's teaching me to have more patience, and patience is the key to everything. When you have patience, you have everything. And so for me to just start off, you know, with reading books like this for, you know, my development, professional development, and learning these different things and taking notes, I'm learning. And the more that I get to reading these books and stuff, because I have a lot on the waiting list, and as they come in at the library that I have put in, I'm going to you know, set up email like, hey, I'm reading this book now, this book I'm reading now, I've already recovered this. And I'm going to like look at it as like homework when I write the paragraphs. You know what I mean? After I read the book, I can look at my notes, and that'll help me be able to write the paragraph summaries for my notes.
And I think the advantage that my approach has to traditional schooling is that, like, I lost my mind. Like, look, I'm a lifelong learner, and by living life and going through trauma, like whatever, like I got information overload. You know, like I used to, at one point I had a very good memory, and now everything is coming back, because I think part of my process was losing my mind. Because think about it, like I've interviewed thousands of people when I was working with the HIV in like the 8 years that I was there. I must have interviewed easily 5,000 to 10,000 people. Like I don't even know, because people would coming in day in, day out. I would talk to like 10 people, sometimes 20, sometimes even 30 like a day, but mostly less than 10, or, you know, between 10 and 15. But I would do like hundreds of tests a month. And I did that for many years. And then when we do events, we do a lot. So I couldn't keep up people's stories no more. Like I just got overloaded with information, and then doing that on top of going to school. So then as I formed the school, I had to reorganize my thinking and how I collect information. So that's why I got these categories, like branding category, entrepreneurship category, strategy category, technology category, and then K through 12, science, teams, religion, engineering, art, math, and social science. So like I've had to create rooms in my head to be able to reorganize all the information I ever had, so that it's easier for me to go into my head and get it, because I just got too much information. So then while I'm working with you, I can help you prevent from getting information overload by keeping your thoughts organized, you know, by allowing you to see, okay, look, let's put that. And that's why I use new words. So I like lifestyle engineering. And then under lifestyle engineering, I put everything personal development. And I put half of leadership development. Then I have social engineering. Social engineering, I put community improvement. And then I put the other half of leadership development. You see, so I'm just trying to organize my thinking. And then now that we have professional development, so this is the way I call it. Dream Space Institute. So the school, I call it Dream Space. Like it's an education that allows you to live in your dream space. And then, so what's Dream Space about? School of Lifestyle and Social Engineering. So someone that wants to go to Dream Space know they're going to be working on themselves, and then they're going to be working with a community or with other people. And then when they're working with themselves and other people, these are the majors. The majors are branding, your reputation, entrepreneurship, how you make money, strategy, how you make decisions, technology, how you implement all of that into communication. So, and that's technology. Then K-12 streams. So that's like my homeschool curriculum. So then if I'm working with someone younger and they're going from K to 12, what are the topics that I want to talk to them about? I want to talk to them about science. I want to talk to them about teams. So instead of technology, I use in the other category. So now I'll use this T for teams, like how to be part of a team. then I want to talk about religion, because I think that religion is your belief system. And it's not to tell people to believe this or believe that. It's about, what do you believe in? What do other people believe, so that you can be able to be informed about it. So then I want to have conversations about religion. I want to have courses on religion. So for instance, what does that mean? I want to invite a pastor from a Christian church to teach about the Bible. I want to invite pastors or imams from Muslims to teach about Islam. I want to, like, basically anyone, Buddhist, and then young people can choose to take that course or not. But it would be under the R for religion. And then that's kind of history. Like, religion is basically history.
That's
and then
true.
You have engineering.
That's true. Because every book that I've read, and I don't mean to interrupt you, that goes back into time for history, they speak about some type of religion. I don't care what nobody say. Every book. I don't care if it's just one sentence. They're going to speak about it.
Because if you're not a Christian, you're a Muslim, or you're a Native American that practice like there's all religion, like the witch hunts, the Crusades, like the Romans defeating the Persians. These are all different belief systems. So then you got religion, then you got engineering, which is like kind of like thinking. It's about like projects, like robotics is engineering. Like the inner workings of technology has to do with engineering. Then art, math, and then social science, which social science is like psychology and sociology. These are like understanding how people's behaviors. So then that's kind of like, so that's what Dream Space is about. So the school that I've been working on is a school that addresses all those topics. And then now my role as the principal is to find individuals that have expertise in these categories, right? And how am I going to find them? By interviewing them through a show. So we have this show that we're meeting people who have these expert knowledge in these different fields, that then they can one day, if they choose, be part of the school that I've been working on, to be a teacher, to teach that course. Whether it's like, for instance, then what I'm doing with you is I'm showing you everything that I know. That way you can do everything that I can do, you know, and then still be able to have your mind organized so that you can function without losing track of yourself. Because one thing that I noticed is like, okay, like how many people have a bachelor's or a master's and they really can't tell you nothing about, like, you know, they have nothing to show for it. Like they forgot everything that they learned already. That's what happened to me. I forgot a lot of what I already learned. And until I had to relearn everything and then reorganize my thinking, then that's when everything started coming back and I can better organize it. So yeah.
That's what's up.
So for instance,
thank you for bringing that up to me too about information overload. Like, just to have patience. I'm just gonna have patience and just kind of move day by day with you, continue to take notes, study for my GED. And then when I get to that process, when I'm finishing up with my GED, when it comes to me looking more into my associate's degree and stuff like that, then I'll, you know, get to that level. But at this time, I'm just gonna have patience. Of course, I'm not gonna take like my precious time with my GED, but I'm not gonna be so much in a rush to try to go test. You know what I'm saying?
Because what I want you to realize is that your education has nothing to do with how much money you're gonna make. And then once you realize that, then there's no pressure to finish it. Like if you realize like your education has nothing to do with how much money you're gonna make. Now, when I was going through school, I thought that my education had something to do with how much money I was gonna make. That's not the case. Now, for some people, they're gonna argue about that, and you know, you can.
Of course, they are.
You can believe that if you like, but what I'm trying to say is that you don't need your education to make money in 2020. In 2020, you can go on live like this, like you're doing right now.
You can use your talents.
Exactly. And for instance,
and I've been reading that, like I see it, you know, social media, different things, like you can literally use your talents. And one thing about me, and I said this, is that, you know, the degree that I am choosing to go in, it's not going to be about all the money about me making, because I know what type of person I am. So I get these degrees because I'm a lifelong learner and the type of person I am. And like now I'm building my resume with the position that I'm in now, you know, with Youth Build and AmeriCorps and stuff like that. But I'm also presenting the type of person I am too, which I'm able to get along with everybody. I'm willing to get along with everyone. You know what I mean? And in business settings, that's something that is really hard to come by, where you.
That's emotional intelligence. You got to be emotionally intelligent to be able to get along, to be agreeable, so that you can get work done without
walk in and be
without being disruptive.
To speak hello. Like some people, that's very hard for them to do. You know what I mean? Like it's very hard in the office business setting. And to say that is that I said it. What I'm going in for is from the heart. Which I know the money, all that's going to come into play. As long as I got a, you know, a roof over my head, a night, I'm living, you know, decent or whatever, still I have everything that I need, everything else is going to fall into place. So, you know what I mean? I don't know what God may have in store for when I finish my book. Well, that may be my extra source of income.
Let me plant some seeds. You don't need a degree to be a life coach. You don't need a degree to be a consultant. You see, to be a life coach, you need to be able to coach people. To be a consultant, you need to be able to solve problems. And you don't need a degree for those things. And so all that to say is, you can still be working on your education to get more tools in your toolbox. But if you meet a person that needs life coaching, that they could hire you. If you meet a businessman that needs some consulting, a business person that needs some consulting, then you can consult with them. So for instance, what might a business need? What kind of consulting? Well, they may need consulting with hiring. They may need consulting with management. They may need consulting with leadership development, with training. And then if you're already getting all these skills, as long as you can show and prove, you don't need a degree. In fact, through word of mouth, they might hear about your services and then they'll come to you. And you don't need an associate, you don't need a man, you don't need none of that. So all that is bonus. And then, for instance, you can right now start calling yourself a life coach. Right now, you can say, hey, I'm a life coach. I'm not coaching anyone right now. And then you can be like, hold up, let me go find one person from that women's divorce group for me to coach for free. And then you find one person to coach for free. And then you focus all your energy on helping that one person be happy in life. You know, and then that person's going to, you're going to practice, and then they're going to feel better, and then they're going to pass it through the word of mouth. And then you'll get your second person. Now, for me, I never want to charge. That's my hardest thing, because I don't feel comfortable charging. Now, that's one of my limiting beliefs, you know, and I'm not saying that it should be this way, but for me, I don't like charging. I rather focus my energy on just coaching without having to charge. That's me. But that doesn't mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with charging, especially if you're providing a service or, you know, creating value. But for your personality, which is similar to mine, and I wish someone told me this before, is you don't need a degree to be somebody's coach. And you already have the skills to be somebody's coach, right? Like, there's people out there that you can already coach to have a better life. Doesn't mean that you have to coach them to make $1 million. Doesn't mean you can coach them on how to overcome a relationship. You can coach them on how to take charge of their life and make better choices, you know? And then when we get better at this professional development and you start working with the young people, and all of a sudden attendance is going up, retention is going up, behavior is improving, now you're a consultant. You know, now you can go to another nonprofit and say, hey, I know how to do this. Look what I did in my program. Attendance was 80%. Now it's 95%. You know, we had 3 conflicts a week. Now we have no conflicts a week.
And my boss must know it's something good that I'm working with you, because she was happy. You know what I mean? Like, she was really, really happy. Damn. And I was like, I said, because, you know, she's been to those conferences before and stuff like that. So I'm like, maybe she might have seen Julian or something, or she was just like, yep, or, you know, my mentor probably talked to her, but she was just so happy. And for her to be so happy for me, I'm like, I'm going to make them proud. I'm going to make them proud. You know what I mean?
The way that you make them proud is by helping the numbers get better. You know, you find out where attendance is at now, and then after you get going, then what's attendance after? And then
called results. Some people focus on the people. Some people focus on process. Some people focus on results. At every organization, you have to have people focusing on these different topics. The people that focus on the people are the leaders. They're serving the people so that the people can get the job done. And then the people focusing on results, those are the workers. Those are the people. Those are your achievers. You want your achievers on notice. You want your achievers solving problems, getting results, making the numbers work.
And you can measure that. Like, for instance, you might say, okay, let me get these 3 students, and I'll just work one-on-one with them. And then you coach them into becoming better students by helping them develop professionally. What does professional development mean? Lifestyle engineering, personal development, leadership development, community improvement. You know, their diet, their exercise, their mental health, meditation. Whatever. All the things that we're talking about. Reading, like the books that you're reading. Then you're gonna find out what books you should recommend to them. But all this whole conversation.
Meditation, contemplation, visualization, which comes down to saving time, socializing, achieving, vibing, exploring. And when we saving time, what we talking about? We're talking about finding jewels, facilitating, interviewing, initiative, and negotiation. The initiative is a little extra, but the idea is that you can learn to facilitate, you can learn to interview. Oh no, there's not I for initiative, it's I for interview. Interview and intervene, negotiate. The I for initiative is for wise grace, wealth, intelligence, initiative, sex appeal, emotional intelligence. But yeah, so
station is about your college degrees. That's for your
Save time, find jewels. That's what you coach in. Lifestyle and social engineering.
Resume, your college
leadership development, community improvement.
degrees, that's your passion. You're a lifelong learner. You're passionate about it. But in terms of making money, you can make money by being a life coach. You can make money by being a consultant. You can make money by providing trainings, by doing workshops, and then you don't need a degree. And that's kind of like my introduction into Youth Build. And I much props to Kepra. Like, she created this collective called Education Should Help Us. And it was about that our life experiences is our education. Like, we don't got to go get a college degree. We got experience in life. And that qualifies us to be able to provide these services, whether it's life coaching, whether it's, attendance, retention, conflict, everything that you got experience in. And then by us doing this show, having conversations, these trainings, this is experience that you're getting that then you're going to be able to use in your personal life to help other people. And none of this you need a degree for. However, getting a degree is bonus. If you're happy and, you get more experiences, you meet more people, like, it's about networking. And then all of a sudden, like, life is always good. You're never feeling like you're not enough. And that's kind of why I'm happy to have met you now, because, you don't have to go through anything you don't want to go through. Like, life doesn't have to ever be hard again. Like, classes never have to be hard. For instance, if
you know what I'm saying? It's not about life being easy or hard. More so it's about handling pressure. Regardless, if you want to develop into the best person you can be, you got to go through pressure. You got to experience pressure. Now, do you have to suffer while you experience pressure? No, you can experience pressure with ease, and that's the goal.
If we're working,
and that's the prescription. JRX 36. JRX 36 is a prescription. Crypto prescription that allows you to have the state of mind that allows you to experience ease through pressure.
Working together and you are already reading the best books on the subject, by the time you get the books from the teachers, you're gonna be like, oh, this is like, I can teach. You know what I mean? So you might even be able to test out of some classes just how you're doing with the GED and you're testing out. Sometimes some colleges allow you to test out of some classes. So
thank you. So you got the video for our daily
yes. And I think it's going to be very fitting. We'll let it play for like 5 minutes. I think I'll play for like 5 minutes. So the person that you're going to be listening to, his name is Art Williams. Art Williams is the founder of Prime America Financial Services. In 1991 is when he made it. And he used to be a college football coach. And by the last number that I heard that I think he might not be alive anymore. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But he was worth like $1.4 billion, if I'm not mistaken, by the time that he was like peaked out. So, and Prime America is still active and going, and it's one of the major financial institutions. So right now I'm going to be playing a video by an individual that you should get to know as well. I'll give you his name, Evan Carmichael. So
how do you say his name? I mean, how do you spell it?
EVAN. And then Carmichael, which is C-A-R, Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L. And I would say that Evan Carmichael has our personality. He appears to be a lifelong learner who likes to study people who are successful. And then he makes these videos about the top 10 rules of Art Williams, the top 10 rules of Will Smith, the top 10 rules of Jordan Peterson, the top 10 rules of Alexandra Blockton, the top 10 rules of Julian Ramirez. So you see what I'm saying? So he's like a person like us, and he did this video collection on the top 10 rules of Art Williams, and I want to play like the first 4. You ready? Cool. And I think it's going to be very relevant to today's conversation.
90+% of winning in anything you try to do in America today, you got to be excited. People in America won't follow or believe in a negative, dull, disillusioned, frustrated, dadgum crybaby. People want people that are positive and excited and enthusiastic and tough. The greatest definition I ever heard, I thought about this 10 million times when I wanted to quit along the way of a winner. This guy said almost every in America can stay excited for 2 or 3 months. A few people can stay excited for 2 or 3 years. But old winner will stay excited for 30 years, however how long it takes to win. See, if you want to win, folks, you gotta stand up and you gotta say, I'm so sick and tired of being average. Doing America today, you got to be excited. People in America won't follow or believe in a negative, dull, disillusioned, frustrated, dadgum crybaby. People want people that are positive and excited and enthusiastic and tough. The greatest, listen, the greatest definition I ever heard. I thought about this 10 million times when I wanted to quit along the way of a winner. This guy said almost everybody in America can stay excited for 2 or 3 months. A few people can stay excited for 2 or 3 years, but a winner will stay excited for 30 years, or how long it takes to win. See, if you want to win, folks, you gotta.
A winner will stay excited for however long it takes to win. Facts. That's a fact. How long can you stay excited for? That's why your storyline matters. The character you choose to play matters. Because you got to be excited after 2 months. You got to be excited after 6. You got to be enthusiastic about who you are year after year after year. You have to maintain the momentum.
Stand up and you got to say, I'm so sick and tired of being average and ordinary. I'm so sick and tired of telling myself and telling my wife and telling my mama and telling everybody I'm going to win. I found it this time. Watch my smoke. See, folks, if you're going to win, you're going to change. The only way you can change your life, the only way the future can be better than the past is you got to change. Nobody can change for you, okay? Nobody's going to give you something for nothing. It's going to be up to you. You're controlling your future. And if you
Change is what I'm all about. You know, that's you're controlling your future. It's about visualization. You're visualizing your future. You have control to visualize. You have the option, the choice to use your attention to visualize the future so that you can create or manifest that future which you prefer to experience. Doesn't mean that you're going to experience, but you can position yourself in a direction and then you can practice each day to go towards that direction.
If you don't change, just look in the daggone mirror. Look at the last 5 to 10 years of your life, and the next 5 or 10 years are going to be just like that. Now, ain't that depressing? This theme that I adopted, nobody wants a boss, but everybody wants a coach. You know, if you're going to be a great leader and you're going to lead your people to great success, you've got to have a coach's heart. And a coach is trained to look for the good things in people. You know, everybody, every piece of flesh that's ever been born, at one time in their life were dreamers. They felt good about themselves. But do you realize that 90% of the people that you recruit in business today, on the outside, they might look confident, you know, but inside, folks, they've been crushed. You know, they've lost their confidence. People have treated them bad. They've almost given up on themselves. And it's your ability as a coach to look inside those people and see something good and help them to believe in themselves again, to feel good about themselves again. That's going to determine, you know, how far you take your team. I believe desire and will to win is everything. I don't know why I'm like I am, but my butt's always burning. There's always something say, Art, dadgummit, you're supposed to go for it. Art, dadgummit, you're supposed to be somebody. You're supposed to make a difference with your life. What does the $500,000 a year person do? The $50,000 a year person doesn't do. You look at the outside and study those two individuals, everything seems to be the same. They both are the same sex, they both are the same age, they have the same training, the same positions, the same contract, the same fringe benefits. They both are successful, they work hard, they're good family people, make tough commitments. But what's the difference? What does the $500,000 a year person do? The $50,000 a year person doesn't do. He pays the price and a little bit more. He works hard and a little bit more. He's loyal to the country and a little bit more. He bleeds and a little bit more. He makes money and a little bit more. He saves money and a little bit more. If you want to win in these United States, you got to be tough and you can't quit. The last thing I'll talk to you about today in building this winning edge is, folks, if you want to win in business, you got to be a leader. Leadership is everything. You show me anything in these United States that win, I'll show you a leader at work. You show me a successful church, Boy Scout troop, club, football team, business, I'll show you something run by a leader. See, I thought at one time in my life you had to be smart to win. I used to have these smart people that dress so pretty and talk so pretty and use these big words. They just intimidated me. And I said, Art, you can't ever be that good. Why don't you just throw in the towel and go back and coach football for a living? And I found two things out about smart people. I think it's almost impossible for a smart person to win in business in America today, because I find smart people spend their whole lifetime figuring things out. They always trying to figure out an easier way and a quicker way. And another thing I found out about smart people is they just don't get around to doing nothing. And see, somebody like Art Williams, everybody said, well, he can't do it. And somebody like that can't do it, but he does it. See, folks, I want you to know almost everybody in America almost does enough to win. They almost get there. They almost are over the hump. They almost have it going. They almost in everything they do, almost as a way of life to almost everybody in America. But the winners do it. What do? They do whatever it takes to get the job done. They do it and do it and do it and do it and do it until the job gets done. And then they talk about how great it is to be somebody they're proud of. We need leaders in America who can do it. If you want to become somebody, do it. If you want to go in business for yourself, do it. If you want to become financially independent, do it. I hear too much talk in these United States. Everybody can talk a good game. We need people in America who can do it. I go all over this country with A.O. Williams, and I have people say, Art, you can count on me. Wonderful. Just do it. Art, I guarantee you this is my last stop. I'm going to win now. Super duper. Just do it. Art, if I could just have one good month and get the ball going, I know I can make it big. Super. Just do it. Art, if I could just pay off this debt, I could really go. Great. Just do it. Art, if I could just sell my house. Do it. But houses ain't selling. Do it anyway. Art, I'm not making any money. What can I do? You just do it. Do what, Art? You do it and do it and do it. Art, I guarantee I'm going to win this contest. Super duper. Just do it. Art, I'm over the hump now. Watch my smoke. Great. Just do it. Art, I want to make it so bad I can taste it. What I do? You just do it. Art, I'm a vice president now. Can I quit doing it? Nope. Art, I don't know if I can keep on keeping on. I'm really hurting what I do. You just do it. Do what, Art? You do it and do it and do it. Art, all my life I want to be somebody important. Well, what do it then? Art, I'm going to save money so I don't have to go through this again. Great. Just do it. Art, I don't feel like I've had enough training. What I do? You just do it. Art, my manager don't give me no help. What I do? You just do it. Art, you don't understand. I was Mr. Everything in my former company. You don't mean I have to start off down at the bottom and do it, do you? Yep, you really got to do it. Art, what's the primary difference between winners and losers? The winners do it. They do it and do it and do it and do it until the job gets done. And then they talk about how great it is to finally have achieved something unique and how glad they are that they didn't quit like everybody else and how wonderful it is to finally be somebody they're proud of and make a difference with their life. The key to winning is not...
Good, right?
You see, I got to write that down. That's good. That went exactly like right along. I don't know how we ended up, how the topic that we talked about just died. Like he finished it off so good. That was
and you see, I didn't even plan it because I was like, what you want to talk about?
And I'm sorry, like, I'm sorry that our conversations be going on for so long.
No, I'm good. Listen, I'm just doing it. I'm doing it. We're on day 22, and I'm gonna keep
doing it so we can win.
Yep. And
all right, then, will we be on the same time for tomorrow, or do you want me to just play by ear?
Let's plan for the same time, and then if I miss the bus and don't make it on time, then I'll let you know on Messenger, and then maybe we can bump it up a little bit later.
Okay, just let me know. Just message me then, okay?
Yeah, but I still want to be able to meet. Now we're gonna keep it the same. If I miss the bus, I'll message you, and then I'll be like, okay, maybe 1 hour later or half hour later.
Okay.
Cool.
So missing your black hair.
Yep. Well, thank you. Tonight was really good, and see you later.
Bye.
Later. Tune out. The Black Hair Party has presented the Taboo Free Talk Show, Professional Development. Anyway, it's been good. JJ sleeping. This is a midnight edition. You know what I'm saying? A midnight edition.
Man, even with the gloves, that thing's slippery.
Here we are. What could I say? What more can I say? We was vibing. We was chilling. We got in some conversations. I haven't been talking as much as I would have liked to have been talking, but it's not like I had a real expectation. I kind of like just listening. And if I got something to say, I just chime in. I just say something about it. I just talk about it. I'm trying to redefine chime in because chime in. You may not understand chime in if you're in Brazil and this is getting translated, for instance. Shout out Brazil. But yeah, so it's been good. Tomorrow we'll pick up. Actually, tomorrow the next video that I'll make is going to be based on a translation of a workshop that I gave in Brazil or in English, and then someone translated into Brazilian, into Portuguese. Yes. Well, all the best. I will see you, or you will see me again. You know what I mean? Shout out to my future self. Shout out to my past self. Shout out to the future self that's gonna come back and do a box in the box of this box. Know what I mean? Here we go.